Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm LTC Nursing. For my new subscribers, hey, how y'all doing? Welcome. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. To my oldies but goodies, welcome back. For those who are new, I am Muriel. I'm a registered nurse. Been a registered nurse for 5 years. I'm a bachelor's prepared registered nurse. And I primarily work in psych, but I am a long-term care nurse to the core. I prefer long-term care. And yeah, that's basically what it is. I'm 46 years old, almost 47, knocking on 47's door. I am a mother of 5. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, this video, y'all, not gonna be too much. I want to get into just a little bit more of long-term care, things to get you prepared for long-term care, because I did the long-term care like preparation video about 2-3 years ago, and I basically covered everything in that video. So I'm just going to like reiterate, because it is now 2024. So I just want to give y'all just a little bit of update on things to prepare. So if you're brand new nursing, you've never worked you've never worked long-term care, just want to let you know, first of all, patience. You are going to need a lot of patience, honey, because let me tell you, I've been in this thing all these years, and I still need patience to work in long-term care. Another thing you need to have is, it may sound silly, but I suggest you go out and buy you a blood pressure cuff, not a wrist cuff. I do not I do not advocate for those wrist cuffs. Get you a blood pressure cuff that goes over your arm. Let me show you guys mine. Now I need to clean mine, because child, working in long-term care, and I got 2 feet and all kind of stuff on it. But I have this blood pressure cuff. It's been going strong for years, and let me tell you, it wraps around your arm. And I've actually taken a blood pressure with this, and then taken a manual blood pressure, and they are within, the readings are within each other by about 2, whatever the mmGH, whatever that's milli, whatever. So this is a pretty good cuff. I think I got this cuff from CVS. I think it was like $100 and something. Also, I would suggest you get a pulse ox, and you get I'm gonna say a stethoscope, because you do sometimes have to do apical pulses, and as well as a thermometer. Now I'm hoping, since we're post C-19, I'm hoping facilities have thermometers, but you never know. I would also suggest you get a black Sharpie, because I use these a lot too. Let me see if I can fill mine in here. I use these a lot because of HIPAA, we don't throw things away with patients' names on them. I try to, well, we do throw them away, but I always blacken out everything with a Sharpie so that you can't see their name or any identifying, even if I'm going to put something in the shredder, I always blacken out their name and everything with a Sharpie. So I suggest that. And pens galore, as many pens as you can muster. Try to get some pens. Y'all know I even buy pens for, like, I buy pens that are my personal pens, and then I buy pens that are to hand out to staff. Like, I'll go get the $1 pack of pens, and there's like 10 in the pack to hand out to staff, because somebody's always going to be asking for a pen, and I don't want to get nobody my good pen. So that'll get you started. Secondly, try to brush up on your medication if you are a new nurse. I did a video on common medications found in long-term care. I'm going to link that video down below. But try to brush up on your medications, because you can look up meds as you give them, but it will definitely take time doing a med pass if you have to look up every medication. And being a new nurse, you're not gonna know what those meds mean, those meds are. You do want to know what you're giving a patient. You don't want to give a patient a medication that's for hypertension, then their blood pressure is already 90/50, especially without notifying the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So, or you don't want to give them a Lasix, and giving them something that's gonna even lower the blood pressure even more. All right, y'all, I'm back. I had to go. Relax, relate, and release. Anywho. So my daughter still hadn't gotten these edges done. It's like we just keep missing each other. But anywho, so yeah, to prepare yourself for long-term care. One thing about long-term care they are always I'm not gonna say always. It's like a 50-50 on if they're gonna be short or not. And I'm gonna say this now because they have increased the pay since I made my last video. I think when I made my video, it was like pre-pandemic, and so the pay was lower then, but the pay has increased. There has always been a shortage in long-term care, and it's harder to fill that shortage than it is to fill it in, say, like a hospital, because a hospital keeps a pool of nurses to fill shortages as such. But long-term care, even though they have PRN staff, a lot of the PRN staff have full-time jobs. There's not just like a pool you can pull from, but most of them have unit managers, so there's always a unit manager who will take the cart if they're short a nurse. The real shortage comes on night shift because those unit managers are not there at night. So something else to get used to, and I hate to say this, and it's so true. I hate to say it's a little, okay, I was gonna say disorganization. Be prepared for it to be disorganized. However, if you are the nurse on a cart and you primarily work that particular cart when you come in, it will become a little more organized if you are the type of nurse to stay on top of things. So if you're the type of nurse to stay on top of ordering medication, you're the type of nurse to stay on top of making sure the med cart is stocked, you're the type of nurse who stays on top of, you know, stuff like that, then it becomes less disorganized if you're the type of nurse to stay on top of things. However, those type of nurses are unicorns. I hate to say it. So if you're working 3 12-hour shifts, someone else is working those other 4 12-hour shifts. And it gets to be a lot when you're the only nurse who's working that's on top of things. So just be mindful of that. Be prepared to be able to get overtime, y'all. Let me tell you, whether it be on day shift or night shift, there's always going to be a needs list for staffing. Be prepared to be able to get overtime. Like, even with staffing where I am PRN, even with them having the nurses that they have, because they just hired quite a few nurses, even with them scheduling those nurses, having those nurses, there is still a needs list that is sent out every month of open shifts. And if you are already working your full-time hours, you can pick up 2-3 shifts a week. Like, there's usually about 4 shifts. I'm gonna say there's usually about, in a month's time, there is usually about 18 extra shifts that need to be filled. So you can easily make overtime. How to get to work early, 6:45 if possible, whether you're working day shift or night shift. I'm going off of nurses who work 12-hour shifts now, because there aren't that many places that do 8-hour shifts anymore. My suggestion is to try to be a little early, even if it's only 10 minutes early, just so you can kind of scope around and see, you know, things that need to be done or haven't been done or whatever before you take those keys. Because it has happened a time or two that a nurse has gotten to work, she's gotten the keys and she's got a report, she walked down the hall and found that a patient had expired. When that patient expired, no one, you know, knows, but because it is often that no one has been in that patient's room in the last hour. Like, if they've gotten care from their CNA at 5 a.m., more than likely they won't see that CNA again for the rest of that shift. It'll be the next shift CNA that lays their eyes on them, the 7 a.m. CNA. So just try to come in like 10 minutes early so you can just do a walk through the floor real quick. Possibly even look at the appointments for today so you can see who's got an appointment, because that's very important. It's nothing like getting your shift started, you're passing meds, and transportation comes to pick a patient up. You didn't even know they were going out because you didn't look at the appointment book. So yeah, so get there about 10 minutes early so you can look at the appointment book. You can do a walkthrough on your floor. Just lay your eyes on everybody, so at least you can verify nobody's on the floor and everybody is breathing. And then take a quick look at the appointment book and see if you have any appointments. That's, as well as ask if you have any, if you're new to the facility, you just ask, do I have anybody going out to dialysis and what time do they leave? So you'll be prepared for that as well. Like I said, you don't want transportation pulling up to get somebody and you didn't even know they were going anywhere. If you want to be thorough enough to do this, now mind you, it works in some facilities it doesn't, especially if your CNAs are notorious for being late. I suggest doing a quick, like 2-3 minute huddle. Like once you get to work, you walk the unit, you looked at your patients, you looked at the appointment book, now you're getting a report from the nurse and you're counting the NARC drawer. Once you get your bearings about you, I say about, because most people when they're gonna start passing meds, they're gonna start like 7:30, like they getting started. Once you get your bearings about you, pull your CNAs, for a quick maybe 2-minute huddle. So you can just let them know, hey, so-and-so has an appointment day, they need to be ready by this time. So-and-so is going to be discharged today, please have them dressed and ready. The CNA should be giving a report to each other, but you're going to see a lot of times the night shift CNA or evening shift CNA or day shift CNA will leave before the relief unit comes in. So the person, and that's mainly due to the other CNAs coming in late. Like a CNA, she'll work up to 2:53, then she'll be waiting around the clock out, or 2:55 she'll be waiting around the clock out, which they shouldn't do that. But a lot of times they will stay on the floor till 3 p.m. and at 3 p.m. they head to the time clock. It don't matter if they got relief or not. Once your CNAs show up or whatever, do a quick little huddle to let them know, let them be aware of what's, how that day is going to run, what's going on for the day. Let them know you already assigned stuff like hydration to whatever CNA you've already assigned, who's going to the dining room and all that, that's already been assigned. But just, remind them if possible of, okay, make sure residents get their water, make sure to pass hydration by so-and-so time. Let them know if you're the type of nurse who you want the CNAs do your vital signs, give them a time that you want your vitals done by. I'm the type of nurse that do my own vital signs because when I'm doing the morning med pass, I don't have time to wait till 11 o'clock for the CNA to complete a vital sign at 10 o'clock, especially if I'm starting my med pass 7:30. Sometimes by that second tech, I need to know what their vitals were. One thing that works out well where I work now at the site facility is night shift does the vitals. And so we kind of know coming in the door in the morning what the patient's vitals were. So we use that. It would be so great if one shift could do the vitals for the next shift. I have seen that done as well, where day shift did the vitals for night shift, so they didn't have a certain time that they had to have it done because their vitals were used for night shift, and then night shift did their vitals for day shift to use. So it wasn't a particular time, like they had the entire shift to get it done because those vitals weren't going to be used for their nurse, on their shift anyway. So I found that to be real good. That way the patients are getting 2 sets of vitals every day. Then more in that huddle, you can set the expectations. Well, like I said, how the day is going to run. Set those expectations so no one can say they didn't know. Because it's always a lot of, I didn't know. It could be the job that they do every day. It could be let me tell y'all know, when you're passing hydration to patients, that's just not a Monday, Wednesday, Friday job that gets done. Hydration is passed every day, sometimes twice a day, as far as water cups and snacks and stuff like that. It's done at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and then sometimes it's done again at 8 p.m., so 3 times a day. But even though this is something that's done repetitive, giving ice water, something done repetitive every day, you'd be surprised at how many people be like, oh, I didn't know. How you didn't know? How you didn't know? It's the same, like, one thing I can't stand is one thing I can't stand is asking somebody to do something that is nothing new. It's nothing new that you give ice water to patients. Something else to be prepared for is the cattiness, y'all. I talked about this on my other video. When you got a lot of women working, just expect there to be some type of conflict. Some type of conflict. And when you're trying to resolve that conflict, because you will have to resolve conflict as a nurse, whether it's I don't want to work with this group, or I don't want to work with this patient, or I don't want to, or this, or, you know, or I had this group on day shift. Why I got to move on evening shift? Let me tell you one thing that I find happens a lot, and I feel, so I don't know, I'm ambivalent to it in a way, but okay, so say you're a CNA and you work day shift normally, but you decided to help them out and you're going to work 3 to 11. So you've worked day shift all day, and now you're going into 3 to 11. You know, it would be nice that you be able to keep your same group because, you know, you work with that group, you got them prepared. However, there is a CNA coming in who works 3 to 11. That is particularly her group. Now, we know there aren't really assigned groups, but then again, there are assigned groups in a way. But we know that is usually her group on 3 to 11. So let me ask y'all, would it be fair to ask that 3 to 11 CNA to work a different group because this day shift CNA is helping and staying over, instead of pulling that day shift CNA and putting her on another group? What would y'all do in that situation? Because I faced that situation a lot. So what would y'all do in that situation? That's a hard one for me. That's always been a hard one for me. In a way, I feel like if you work 7 to 3 is your shift and you're staying over, you're getting paid to stay over. Even though you're doing it as a favor, you're still getting paid to do it. 3 to 11 is not your shift. If you're staying over, that means you agree to work for the facility these 8 hours. You go anywhere that we need to put you because this is not your shift. And if someone stayed over and worked 7 to 3 and they came over from night shift to do it, you would feel some type of way if we get that night shift person in your group. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they should be fully aware that they may have to switch to another group, possibly even another floor. You're there to work to help the facility, not to work and just do your group. You know what I'm saying? But then again, looking out for the 7 to 3 person, it's like, I'm helping y'all. The least you could do is keep me on my same floor. Because now I'm doing double work, maybe I got my day shift people set up in a way to where it'll be easier to lay them down when it's time to lay down. So that's always been a hard one for me. Me, myself, as a nurse, I'm so used to working all the halls when I go places that I don't moan and complain about ending up going to a new floor, because I like to get to know all the patients on all the floors. So I'm very versatile. You can put me on this wing this day and this wing the next day. I'm good. I know the patients. I'm fine. However, I will say this now, where I currently work, there are times when they have to pull a nurse off one lodge and put them on another lodge. When it comes to that, y'all, I don't want to go to another lodge. I almost all but refuse to go. I have gone, but I feel like in that case, not making an exception for me, I'm a geriatric nurse. I work with the geriatric population for a reason. So if you're short a nurse on the young adult lodge, I don't want to go. Yes, I work for this company. Yes, I don't just work for this lodge. But when I got interviewed by this lodge nurse manager to work with this population. I don't want to work with another population. Now, if the other population, the other lodge that I have to go to is a geriatric lodge, yeah, I can do that, because let me tell you, there are certain behaviors that come with working certain lodges, and I'm just not down for those behaviors. I'm a geriatric nurse. I don't care what specialty I'm in, whether it's psych or I'm a geriatric nurse. I don't really want to work with these other populations. So, not trying to say it's different for me than what I would just say for the long-term care nurses. But in long-term care, it don't matter what hall I go on, I'm still going to be with geriatrics, okay? But where I work currently, you could put me to one hall and I'm there with adult females. I don't want to work with adult females unless they're geriatric. You can put me with adult males. I don't want to work with adult males unless they're geriatric. You know, definitely not put me with the kids. I'm going to turn over my key and my badge. I'm not doing adolescents. So anyway, back to things to prepare you for long-term care. And I'm getting sleepy and I'm driving. That's not a good combination. I got all off track, but be prepared for the cattiness, okay? Because it gets real catty when it's a group of females or women or whatever y'all. I say females, y'all. I don't know what the new term slang or whatever. Women and females. I use both of those words to describe my gender. Okay? Argue with somebody else, honey. I ain't got time. Anyway, so yeah. What else can I say? I think that's about it. This organization, the cattiness, staff being, oh yeah, and I forgot about, I said being short, but be prepared to may have to stay over a little on your shift, y'all. It's unfortunate. I've had it happen to me before. I wasn't happy about it. I'm the petty type though. If I have like once, you know, I had to come into work the next morning, but I didn't have any relief till about 8:30, 9 o'clock that night. So I didn't come in the next morning. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock that morning. Like I'm like that. That's the type of stuff I do. You can be like me. You cannot be like me. It's, you know, but if I'm already there 12, 13 hours, you're not going to push me to be there 15. Like, it's going to be some repercussions if I got to be there 15 hours. Now, if I'm off the next day, then so be it. Then you may not get any repercussions. But if I got to come back the next day and I'm already 2 hours into time that I could be home, relaxing, unwinding, I'm going to get them 2 hours back the next morning. So, what lodge I work now, they kind of already know that's how I go, you know. So, they try to allow me to always go home by 8 o'clock. There has been some scary instances, but so far in long-term care, yes, that has happened to me. A few times where I didn't have relief and I ended up staying over, which which I shouldn't complain because I was one of the ones who did no call, no shows when I was younger. I'm very irresponsible. But especially when my kids were younger, like, I'm trying to get home to my kids, y'all. I don't have time to be staying here working till 10 p.m. because you ain't got a nurse. The nurse never showed up. And like, I remember I worked for this agent. I worked the agency shift at this facility. I did a 3 to 11. 11 o'clock came, no nurse. I'm calling by 11:30. No nurse has showed up because I was supposed to work somewhere the next morning. No nurse showed up. I'm calling my agency. My agency reaching out to HR. My agency reaching out to the scheduler. The scheduler, you know, nobody comes. I ended up staying over, but I was paid $200 bonus because, you know, I ended up telling, you know, once they offered the bonus, I was like, well, I can stay over, but just know I can't go because my next shift the next morning was supposed to be through the same agency at another facility. So I had to let them know, well, you know, I'll stay over, but just to know I ain't gonna make it into that, you know, such and such job in the morning. I'm not gonna be there. So that's how that worked out. But so yeah, those are things to look out for if you are entering into long-term care. I try to keep these videos upbeat, y'all, but I be so sleepy. Like, I should have went to sleep when before I left the house just now. Me and Therese, we just, you know, we came from meeting Sunday brunch because it was 11 something, so I wouldn't call it dinner. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Y'all can see this, and let me know if this audio is coming across bad because I've been listening to videos and I don't know if it's something on my phone or what, but it seems like I'm getting like feedback, especially in that last video. It sounds horrible. So let me know, y'all, if y'all hear that feedback in this video. I'm trying to make this video. I can't even talk no more, y'all. I'm so sleepy. And it ain't like I can go to sleep, but I gotta put some tunes or something on to get me through the rest of this ride.